17.1 Chromosomes, Genes, and Proteins. After you're done studying, please go back to the objectives and make sure that you can fulfill them. Okay, so now if you look at this diagram, what can you conclude? You will find out that a cell has a nucleus. Inside this nucleus, we have chromosomes, and those chromosomes are made of DNA. A section of DNA or a part of DNA is called a gene. So a gene is a segment of DNA made of 3 nucleotides. What's a nucleotide? Remember the micro and macromolecules? We said that nucleic acid is a macromolecule. It's made of a micromolecule called a nucleotide. So a sequence of 3 nucleotides above each other make one gene. So a segment of DNA, which is made of only 3 nucleotides together, is called a gene. When you put all those nucleotides together, you will get a DNA. When you wrap this DNA and you make it tightly rolled, you will get a chromosome. When you have all the chromosomes together inside a nucleus membrane, this is what we call a nucleus, and then the nucleus is placed inside the cell. So, what's a chromosome again? It is a length of DNA found in the nucleus of the cell. So, the chromosome, it is part of our DNA. One chromosome will never be the full DNA in humans specifically, because as we learned before, the humans have 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes. So again, what's the importance of a chromosome? The importance of chromosome is that it's made of DNA, and DNA contains all of our genetic information. So it's made of many different genes, and each gene codes for a protein, and proteins, they make all of our chemistry. The body chemistry is how the body works. So what's DNA? It's the deoxyribonucleic acid. So it's a molecule that contains the genetic information and controls all the proteins made inside the cells. And again, proteins, these are the things that control the body chemistry. And every function, every characteristic we have is because of the chemistry happening in the cells. So a gene is a segment of DNA. The gene contains the code to make a protein. When this protein is present in the cytoplasm of the cell can do the function. Without this protein present, the cell will not do the function. Accordingly, without the gene that gives the code for the manufacturing of this protein, we will never be able to do the function. Okay, what are alleles then? Alleles are the different forms of the same gene. As you see here, we all have the gene of the eye color. Me, you, everyone you know have the gene of the eye color. But we all have different forms of this same gene. Some of us have brown eyes, some of us have blue eyes, some of us have green or gray eyes. So these are the different forms of the same genes. The different alleles are the different forms of the gene, like the hair color again. So each species has its own number and variety of genes. What do I mean by this? I mean that for us humans, for example, we have 46 chromosomes, and that's what makes us what makes us humans. If you have more or less chromosomes, you will turn into another species. So chromosomes are made of DNA, and DNA segments are genes, as we agreed before. Those genes make all of our body chemistry, which is responsible for our appearance, the way we look, and behavior, how we act and interact. All humans' genes have the same characteristics. What do I mean by this? We said that there is a variety, different alleles. Yes, but all of us will always have the eye color gene. We might have different forms of this gene, but we all must have this exact gene at the same position on the chromosome. So we all have the same gene in the same position, but we might have different forms of this gene. So why do we have two similar chromosomes here? That's because we always inherit two copies of the chromosome, one coming from the father and the other one coming from the mother. So we have two copies of the same gene, or we have two alleles of the same gene. They might be similar alleles, or they might be different alleles. So chromosomes appear in pairs. Why? Because one is coming from the father and the other one is coming from the mother. They are exactly the same, carrying the same genes at the same position, with only one difference, which is that they might carry different alleles of the same gene. So, does this apply to all of our chromosomes? Actually, no. Only one pair might be quite different, which is the sex chromosomes. In females, we have two of the X chromosome, while in males, we have an X chromosome, while the other chromosome is a Y chromosome, which is different. So all of our karyotype, or this microscopic image of chromosomes, have pairs of chromosomes that look exactly the same, except for sex chromosomes in males. And our pair of chromosomes that are the same, but one from the father and one from the mother, we call them homologous chromosomes. Let's answer some questions together. Genetics is the study of mechanism of inheritance. So this is how we study how we inherit traits from our ancestors. Which human characteristics are inherited? How do we solve such questions? We go above each of the characteristics and we decide either it is inherited or not inherited. So the earlobe shape, of course, it's inherited. Eye color, of course, inherited. Language is not inherited. While the ability to speak is inherited, of course, but the language, this is something you acquire. If you were born in America, you will be speaking English. If you were born in Egypt, your mother tongue will be Arabic. So this is something that you acquire. So it is not inherited. It's the only one that's not inherited. Skin color, it is inherited. So the answer is A. Table 7.1 contains the definitions of terms used in genetics. Complete Table 7.1 by writing the term for each definition. A thread-like structure of DNA carrying genetic information in the form of genes, that's a chromosome. A length of DNA that codes for a protein, that's a gene, since he said it codes for only one protein. So this is a photomicrograph of chromosomes. We can call it sometimes a karyotype in the body cells of a human. So you see here the homologous chromosomes. Why do you see them here only single, while here they are X-like chromosomes? Because they are usually just single chromosomes. This is how we inherit them. But before the cell division, they turn into the X shape. Why? Because these are actually 4 copies. So that when the cell divides, those will divide and each cell will get a copy of the pair of chromosomes. Except for gamete cells, it will get only 1 copy. Okay, let's go back to the question. State the number of chromosomes present in the body cells. He asked about the body cells, not the gamete cells. Make sure that you read the question carefully. So here we go. It's 46 or 23 pairs. Both answers are accepted. The individual in figure 7.1 is a female. Describe the evidence from figure 7.1 that supports this statement. We will go back. How did we know it's a female? Because we don't have a Y chromosome, or we have two X chromosomes. So we can answer this question in different ways. You can say female because there are two X chromosomes present, or you can say no Y chromosome, or you can say only X chromosomes are present, or you can say she has XX sex chromosomes, not XY. Any type or any phrasing will be accepted. Thank you, and I hope this video helps you study.